Today we're going to talk a little bit more about sovereignty because the Dark Mother wants to address things like partnerships, companionship, basically. Not just partnerships, but this refers to friendships, this refers to family, people we allow around us. So you will notice for yourself, let's just talk about ourselves. For ourselves, we all come across, you will notice that we all come across people who we dearly love, but the closer you get to them, you'll realize this person has codependency issues. Um, People who lack love for themselves, people who lack nourishment and knowing how to nurture themselves, will take it from you. And so, even if you care for that person, you are allowing them to become like an energetic vampire. And with time, it will the amount withdrawn will be greater and greater because it starts creating codependency. Then they start needing you. And this, again, like I said, this doesn't just come across in romantic partnerships. It'll come across in friendships, with family, with coworkers. So one of the best ways for you to show that you are someone who is a devotee to the Dark Mothers is not only setting very strong personal boundaries and enforcing them, but knowing when you can be around certain people and when you're going to have to pull away. You have to be discerning. Think of it like when we think of plants associated with the Dark Mothers, people always think of poisonous plants, right? Like wolfsbane, aconite, foxglove, I think is another one. Things like that. They always think of it like a poison. But in the right hands, those plants are healing, right? You can use them to heal. That's what the Dark Mother sees when she's talking about love, when she's talking about companionship, when she sees partnership. These can either be a healing balm or a poison, depending on who you're around, depending on who you allow to form these bonds with. So if you are a devotee of the Dark Mothers, you're not going to be reflecting her correctly if you allow these people in your energy willy-nilly. Think of it like this. Think of it like she has this beautiful home. She has invited you into her home, right? And remember, we're all her children, but the siblings that you brought with you don't respect her. They scoff at her. They laugh at her. They mock her. They disrespect her. Even though they are her children as well, she's not going to tolerate that. Like I just said, she is the goddess. All facets of her, like Kali Ma, Sekhmet, Lilith, all those facets of her, they're not the goddesses that deal with disrespect, ever. You may be their children, but you're going to catch those hands because they don't deal with disrespect. So when you bring these siblings into her house with you, you are forcing her, or, well, at least that's energetically, right? That's what she sees it as. Like you're trying to force her to extend her protection to these people, to extend her blessings to these people. And she's like, no, I already told you, no. They have already made it clear they don't want me. So you can educate people, you can inform people. You can't force people, though, to worship her, right? So this is a little bit more like you're going to have to be discerning, not just about the people you associate with, but what effect it's having on your bond with her. This matters because, like I said, when she extends protection over you, when she extends warmth, love, guidance, you're naturally going to share this with the people around you, energetically and verbally, right? When you get downloads, you're going to be sharing it with people. If they are not on the same page, they will not only damage your connection with her because they'll start saying things like, are you sure that's true? Like, I don't know, that feels a little... They're going to start making you question the downloads that you get. the blessings that you get, especially because she has always been perceived, not always, but she has lately, more in the recent centuries, millennia, has been perceived as something dark and evil. Anything that comes from her is going to be questioned. It's going to be scrutinized. Whereas anything else from any other deity, most likely not. So you're going to have to know that after so many years, she's tired of it. She's not going to stand for it. She's done. She's done giving them time. So it's not like they can't learn from her, but she doesn't want you to be like talking about her to them when they clearly don't want to hear from her. She attracts the people who are ready for her. She is very clearly sending. I've seen so many people talk about how they're getting messages from her, and they've, maybe used to not be devotees of her. She knows who to call because she can see that they're open-minded, they have an open heart, they're willing to learn. You're going to have to let her do that. And if there are people in your vicinity that are not friendly with her, that are not open-minded, that judge her and would most likely judge you, you're going to have to be really considerate of how that's going to affect her. As in, don't force those people into her home. Don't force her to extend protection, because she won't. I very recently had to face this myself because she was very adamant. There was people in my energy field that, although I love them, I still love them, they were not really respectful of her. And it's not, okay, let me rephrase that. It's not that they weren't respectful, it's that they didn't take her seriously. To them, they were like, yeah, she's a goddess. That's cool. But nothing she ever taught them was something they would apply in their own life. Because these were people who were really close to me, but they were really codependent, even after years of guidance, even after years of downloads, they were still very codependent. They weren't healing. They weren't doing the work. So they were still very codependent. They were still the type that would say, I need this person in my life, or they need me in their life. Like, they were very carried away by being in a relationship, by prioritizing friendships over whether that was a friendship that was leading towards growth and leading towards, helping them be a more stable, healthy person. So that does not please her at all. And I kind of took it like, well, they're just not on her path, right? So they respect her enough to know to not mess with her. And I thought that was enough. And she was like, no, it's not enough. Because since I extend protection and blessings over you, when you are around these people, that goes with you. And you are therefore sharing my blessings and my protection with people who don't care about me. Their lifestyle does not reflect anything. Occasionally they might light a candle, but it was not devotion. And she was making that very clear to me. And so today she brought that up for me to share with you guys, because I think a lot of us are in that mentality. We've been taught to tolerate a lot of things that we're like, well, I guess they're just on a different path, and she's not that type of deity though. We have been kind of brainwashed to think of her as a very loving, maternal, Mother Mary type of energy, or Lakshmi type of energy, or Aphrodite type of energy. That's not who she is. Remember, those facets of her have already been made hollow, because she is the core of it all. Without her, love is empty and hollow. Without her, compassion is superficial. So she is the core of it all. And if they can't respect her by listening and being devoted to the things that the advice, the guidance that she gives, this is just like, I don't want them in my house. And so we have to be careful that we're not inadvertently kind of forcing her to protect people and care for people. Not that she doesn't care for them, but give guidance and information over and over, putting her in their face when they just dismiss her. We need to be careful. That's going to be today's message, to be careful who we are connecting with, what type of people we have in our circle.